Hello, Sim Gamers. I'm here to introduce a new game that's in early access on Steam. It's a sailing simulation game called Sailwind. And in this game, they have a basic economy, but since it's very early access, the economy obviously is going to be changing a lot. So anything that you see in this video might be different in a week or two. But the basic economy includes making deliveries, purchasing and managing your own supplies as you sail, resting, making sure that you have plenty of rest. You do that while sailing on the open sea. And one of the biggest pieces of this game is navigation. But the boats are actually simulated. All the sails are simulated. It's in fact possible to go backwards if you try to sail directly into the wind. You can't do that. Turns out it's really hard. But I wanted to actually overwrite one of my games here and start a brand new one, because I've already played this game for about 25 hours. But I wanted to just get sort of an introductory mission out of the way, maybe sort of your first mission, and walk through what that might look like in Sailwind. I'm hoping to get semi-regular content out for this, at least a video out a week. This was just a reminder that this game is in early access and everything is subject to change. So here we start on the dock. For the easiest start, we're in the region of Al Ankh with this Dhow. It's a ship that has a lateen sail and single mast. And thankfully, because it's the easy start, we start off with a bunch of supplies. We start off with a crate of goat cheese to eat, a barrel of water to drink, a cup to drink it with, and some tools. This right here is the instruction manual, basically. You can go through it at a later time and take a look at what it says. But I'm going to go ahead and pick up my equipment and just put it where I want. So we start with a compass to help with navigation. Toss that away. We start with a lantern. And we start with a map of the region we're in. Here we are, Al Ankh. And I think we started at Neverdin. Let me go check, actually. And the best way to find out if you're not sure exactly where you are is actually to just go to the merchant and ask them. Where the heck am I? Looks like another sailboat's coming in. That's kind of cool. This game is definitely rough around the edges. The graphics here are probably not final. I would expect a lot of this to change. Maybe not. Maybe this is the sort of aesthetic style the developer wants to go for. But it's not really about the graphics, it's about the sailing mechanics, and those are top notch, and we'll see that soon enough. This music I'm playing and recording is actually stream beats, available on Spotify. It's available for free, basically. I'm using the ambient soundtrack, just free copyright free music for streaming and videos and stuff like that, because the game does not have soundtrack in it yet. So at any location, you're probably going to find at least one merchant that can sell some stuff. You know, we can buy some coconut wine, we can buy some barrels of things. Unfortunately, we only start with 100 gold, so we don't have much. Maybe I'll buy a banana. You know, never bad to have a banana, right? Any Sea of Thieves player out there, comment below. This is a much harder sailing simulation than Sea of Thieves by a long shot. So we are in Neverdin. So if we actually take a look at our map, that means we're here at the, I'm going to probably highlight it on the screen. Here in the sort of Gold Rock City is the main area, the main city, or the big landmark of the region that you can see practically from anywhere on this map. I think, in fact, you can see it from anywhere on this map. So we're basically east by southeast from Gold Rock City. And we have to do our maiden voyage. So since Gold Rock City is such a prominent landmark and it's relatively easy to find, locate, and get to, I suggest your maiden voyage be to Gold Rock City. Now, because of my reputation, though, your starting rep... Oh, you can zoom in. I didn't know that. Huh, cool. Because of your starting reputation, you're only allowed to take 2 missions, which is good because you want to be careful of not overloading your boat. And I'm going to see if I can't find another one to Gold Rock City. I prefer to prioritize missions that have the most money per mile. So I grabbed something that had the highest money per mile going to Grodwalk. I think it was 4 per mile. And now I'm just supplementing that with a second mission. and coconuts. And now we have out here our crates that we need to pick up. So we got 1 crate of coconuts, that's 50 pounds. This will be a fairly easy load. You can roll these things around like this. In the new beta, they have a slightly different rotation system that allows you to do more stuff, but I just found it's so easy to just line up, roll it forward and back. If I need to make a change, like if I want to put it on its, say I want to put it on its side, and then pick it up and move it. It's relatively easy to do. But for our maiden voyage, we're just going to go ahead and pretty much load the heaviest thing right in the middle of the boat. Just like that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and go one step further and turn this 90 degrees this way so it's a little bit easier for me to walk around it. Now around this, I'm going to load the other the other stuff. We've grabbed the mission. We're now loading up the cargo that we're expected to deliver. I'm going to rotate this so I can slot it in sort of right there. Maybe. That works. Not perfect, but I can adjust this a little bit. There we go. So I've got everything loaded up. I can get around it fairly easily. I can get to my food, I can get to my water, I can get to all that kind of stuff. Now, usually, I like to start a sailing vessel in any region. I like to start sailing in the afternoon. So we know that noon is when the sun reaches south. It means it's still just a tad bit early in the morning, but that's okay. And the reason for that is because since we're going to be asleep in the boat while it's sailing, I don't want to overrun or run aground onto the island. So I'm just going to be conscientious of that. Now, to get underway, we need to take a look at the wind. We see it's basically blowing directly out of the, more or less directly out of west-southwest, and more or less directly at the back of our boat, which isn't going to help us a whole lot moving forward with the way our sails are right now. Now, in Sea of Thieves, you angled your sail to sort of catch the wind precisely where the wind was blowing. But in this game, if we take a look at our instruction manual, we actually want to maximize the amount of thrust the wind provides by angling the sail such that the wind is deflected off the sail as much as possible. In this case, since we're down here on basically on the running free configuration, which means the wind is directly at our back. We'll just do this. I'm not going to turn it all the way right now. I'm going to go ahead and release to get us some wind, just a little bit of anything to get us out of dock. And we're on our way. Okay, let's take a look. We're aimed more or less in the right direction. I'm going to turn just a little bit. And it is hard to see underneath the sail, especially when I'm going to turn it like this. So you can hit the C key to change your view. Your character doesn't have a model yet, but generally speaking, if you're not running free or some variation of it, you want to have the wind at about 45 degrees deflected off the flag. In this case, since we're running free, I'm just going to go ahead and square this off and go that way. For our maiden voyage, this is pretty much it. Aim the ship the right direction, get the sails set up, and let the ship do its thing. You can lock the steering wheel, but usually I don't. I just let the rudder run a little free and correct as needed, because it'll often self-adjust to what your sails are doing. The sails actually do provide like all the thrust and physics is pretty well emulated in the sails. In fact, in a later beta version that I'm not featuring right now, but one of the one of the test versions, each sail is modeled individually with new sail physics, which means that if you have the wind blowing across your bow and you have one sail down and one sail up, your ship might actually turn because the wind is blowing asymmetrically across your sails. In this case, this is a single-masted ship with a sail near the front, which means there might be some strong turning forces sometimes in strong winds. So we'll have to keep that in mind. But while we're sailing, let's take a look at the entire ship. Back to front, I suppose. So back here we have a hammock that we can lay in. When we're tired enough, we can lay in here and actually get a little bit of sleep. We have sort of the I guess you'd say the captain's area with the steering wheel. Room back here to put things. All these things are placed, by the way, like we can just move them. So we have control over where we place everything on the boat that isn't attached to the boat directly. A couple of the aft mooring lines are here. Here we have the sheet winch. The sheet winch is responsible for pulling tension on the corners of the sheet. In this case, since it's a lateen sail, it's only pulling tension on one corner, but we'll use this to actually angle the sail port and starboard or whatever, based on the wind configuration to get us the most speed out of the deal. Here we sort of have, I guess you could say, the main cargo area. It's right in the middle of the ship. We want to make sure that that's where most of our heaviest cargo lives. And up here, a smaller cargo area. This winch is the halyard, and the halyard is what basically pulls up and releases the sail. And we have a couple of mooring lines that we don't, or not mooring lines, anchor lines, I guess. Someone can correct me in the comments below what the term for these are, but these lines hold the mast in place, or help hold the mast in place. Then we have our forward hitching ropes, or mooring ropes, and then our anchor winch. This is a tiny anchor winch compared to the other ships. The other ships have a proper capstan for that, but the anchor winch, also known as the capstan, will live up front on this particular ship. The kind of navigation we're doing here, so navigation is very important, but obviously this very first mission is dirt simple if we choose Gold Rock Island. But we can see a few of the different landmarks, right? So let's take a look around and do actually do a navigation task. So we're pretty sure Gold Rock City is this way, and we know that because we left Neverdin. Let me take a look. We left Neverdin, we're heading to Gold Rock City, and our course should have been east-northeast. So let's take a look at our compass. And sure enough, east-northeast. Now, if we don't find out exactly where we are in the water, we can start making cross-references and use basically this landmark navigation by taking bearings to all these landmarks and draw on the map. So let's draw on here an imaginary compass from Gold Rock City, since it's the most central point, and we want to basically look at ourselves from there. We know that Gold Rock City is east-northeast of us, so if we draw the inverse, if we draw a west-southwest line from Gold Rock City, sort of an imaginary line, from there, we've got our first landmark bearing. Now, if I look this direction, looks like I can see an island nearby. I'm going to guess that's most likely the Isle of Clearmind. So take a bearing to that. And it is north by north-northwest. So once again, oops, I want to throw that on the ground. I want that in my inventory. Pick it up. So once again, we'll draw this imaginary line The inverse of north by north northwest is south by south southwest. So we draw this imaginary line along there. Where those two lines intersect, that's where we are. Now, obviously, this navigation only works when you can see all the landmarks. When we get into bigger missions and a bigger ship, we're going to be in the open sea and have to use different tools. But this is good enough to get started and crank through these missions well enough to determine where we are. And this is especially useful after taking a sleep in the morning after the sun has risen and you're not precisely sure exactly where you are. The wind might have shifted, your rudder might have gotten off track, right? There's a whole six or 8 hours or however long it is that your character actually sleeps in the game, that your ship is continuing to sail, and you need to figure out where the heck you ended up. Down here we have our survival mechanics, basically. So we've got to take care of ourselves and make sure we're rested, fed, and hydrated. So obviously we're getting sort of tired. It's getting later on in the evening, in the afternoon. We've been sailing all day long, and a little bit thirsty, a little bit hungry. Or I could say we're not full. I'm not actually worried about eating just yet. But we're gonna go ahead and drink from this here cup of water. Perfect. So there are things that this game does very, very well. First of all, the graphics and layout of the ships are pretty good. Right, everything is. Let me just turn on a lantern, makes it easier to see on YouTube. Like the ships are good. They're well modeled, especially the physics. You also have to take in consideration weight and balance. Like, that's why I was a little bit diligent. I just want to have good practice now. This stuff is light enough, it's not going to matter much. But if I load everything up, say on the right side or on the starboard side of the deck, then the ship will have a tendency to lean in that direction, right? But you can use that for counterballast, but the actual weight distribution of the ship and how much weight it's carrying matters. Because a ship is able to carry only so much displacement of weight before it becomes a real problem, especially in rougher weather, right? The nighttime is also done really, really well. Stars come out when you go to open sailing to get across from region to region in the sea. You'll use stars for navigation. The constellations are not the same as Earth's constellations. This right here, I call the giant fishhook. Semi-officially or unofficially, it's currently labeled as the Northern Bow. These 4 stars right here, and this lower part of the handle. Let me get rid of this lantern. Put it there. This lower part of the handle is the North Star. So if I dump my compass overboard and I have no idea what I'm doing, at the very least, after sunset, I can take a look and find out where the North Star is and use that for navigation. All these stars rotate around the North Star realistically. So like this configuration, we'll take a look at this before dawn, and you'll see it will have rotated pretty much 180 degrees or more. No, pretty much 180 degrees. So now that it's getting nice and dark, late in the evening, I'm going to reef my sails up good and tight, turn my lantern off, and get some sleep. Again, sleeping in this game is done in real time. It's time accelerated, obviously, so it doesn't, we're not sitting here looking at a black screen with stars and a green bar on it for very long. But the actual sailing and physics of the game continues on. Any storms or gales that come up will impact your ship and might wake you up to deal with those. Oh my, that awful sound is us running aground. Even with the sails reefed, we went too fast and too far, so I don't know if I can turn myself out of the situation or not. This is a problem we need to solve. I'm gonna get a light here. I'm gonna go ahead and completely reef the sail. That was a thing I was worried about. That's usually why I like to leave later on in the afternoon. Like, pretty close to sunset, actually. My wheel's facing the wrong way. Let's get back on board. So I'm going to back the ship up, turn in the rudder to port, which means the ship will back up towards the port side. If I can get it to move. Move, ship. Okay, we seem to be still proper stuck here, so... Maybe we need just to go rudder amidships. Lock it. Lock it. Come on. Oh, we're making progress. And since I'm on shore here, I can push the ship a little bit. Okay, now we go ahead and turn the rudder full port. Give it another push or two so it'll coast backwards. And hopefully get us out of this situation. Oh, I didn't mean to pick that up. Okay. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do, since I have more sleep to get, I'm just going to go ahead and anchor. Can't see anything. Sails are fully up. Okay. Can't see anything. Can't do, you know, it's going to be hard to navigate into port at night. Even though this particular port is pretty well lit. So the wind is blowing across the sail that way, so we're going to have to deal with that. And here's how we deal with that. Go ahead and pull this through. The sail has jibbed. I think that's what the term is. When it goes through the wind blowing on the back of it. And now we're back underway. Whoa. Oh yeah. I forgot something very important. And now our sail's luffing. Luffing in the wind because... You can hold shift to move faster. That's good to know. Can that be done for other stuff? No, not that way. So I'm going backwards because I allowed myself to get head on into the wind, and I need to pull this tight. Keep pulling this until we get some forward thrust. Here we go. We are close hauled. Thankfully, this lateen sail is quite good at handling a close hauled configuration. So I'm just getting some speed, getting some distance around here on this wall really quick, and then we'll swing around. You can see how much we're listing from the strength of the wind. I think we're still awfully close to shore is what the deal is. Stupid anchor. This is our real problem. Apparently I didn't pull the anchor. Someday I'll learn how to sail this thing. Come on, anchor. Let's go. Phew. Okay, Maiden Voyage. Had some rockiness. Entirely my fault. It's all just me. Alright, the anchor is all the way up. Now back to sailing. Since this wind is now blowing basically directly stern to port, or starboard to port, I'm going to release this sail out until I get to about 45 degrees for best speed. About like that, looks good. And while we're here, let's grab a nice little cinematic. Thank you, Hunger Bar. I had a lovely cinematic going, and you reminded me that I needed to eat. So, we'll grab some of our goat cheese. I'm not going to eat too much because I know I'm going to be in port soon, and there will be food available. Rather than chew through my ship supplies, I'm going to chew through the stuff available in port. Okay. Let's lock that off. Release all the sheet winch. Basically, I'm sailing into dock, getting myself ready. But this is where we actually need to start pulling sail. The wind is at our back and will even provide us momentum and thrust without the sail up. I'm going to go ahead and jib this through. I think. Yeah. There we go. Like so. Now this wind configuration is more favorable. And we're pretty much ready to start swinging into dock here. Thankfully, this ship is fairly maneuverable. There's all the pylons marking the various sandbars around Gold Rock City. And you can see why it's called Gold Rock City. The rock has these gold veins in it. Hard to starboard. Let off the wheel. That's good. Sails are pulled, everything else is momentum. Now I'm going to go ahead and arrest my forward momentum first by jumping over and hitting the... Oh gosh, I missed it. No, let me on. Okay. We're gently rubbing against the dock, that's fine. Go ahead and get the aft rope. And when these ropes are on, they provide tension, sort of. Like, so you can actually use them to pull your ship around and do stuff. Okay. Our ship is now going to settle in. I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I'm fully configured for docking. Make my life a little easier for departure. And we're now ready to pick up and deliver. Coconuts, mission complete to Gold Rock City. That wasn't worth all that much money by comparison to this one. This delivery is worth about twice as much, actually. I was just taking a look at the sun really quick to see how much daylight we had left. One more crate to deliver. And this part is entirely too much like Sea of Thieves offboarding your ship. Mission's complete. Let's take a look at the log. Mission history. We did that for 198 gold and 168 reputation. We did this for 137 gold and 56 reputation. Now if I take a look at my reputation, oh, I'm not quite over the bridge to get more reputation. That is sort of the maiden voyage done for our little Dhow. And that's it for the Maiden Voyage of the Dhow. Definitely keep an eye on this game as it works its way through early access. Currently available on Steam. Link in the description below. If you want to see more episodes about this game as I track it through early access with different kinds of ships, different kinds of navigation techniques, and all the stuff that the game has to offer so far and further developments, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and consider hitting that notification icon. Until next time, may the wind be ever in your favor.